Okay, so this is part 2 of before I start working at Walmart. Now, you don't have to watch part 1, but you can. It's just a piece of information. So for part 2, so basically, my baby dad had some addictions, went manic, got locked up. Now now I guess in recovery. And it did take him months to normalize, right? So because his mental state was not good, it put me in a position to where I could get a job. Okay, that is how. So I ended up applying everywhere that I could. Now let me explain this town. Okay, when I say that I live in a small town, I live in a small town. I don't know how it's illegal to just build houses and houses and houses and houses and not have businesses and schools and stuff to accommodate. Most of the businesses here are small owned, but I live in an immigration town, so immigration is very high here. Most of the Mexicans are from Mexico, so a lot of jobs require us to be bilingual. Now, outside of being bilingual or having to have some sort of level of education or whatever, a lot of the establishments are restaurants and all this stuff. So I can't just get a job anywhere, and it's not easy for me to get it. I've actually tried in the past to get jobs. So also live out in the country, so most people will end up working at one of the fast food restaurants, Walmart, or the plants. Okay, just to give you an idea picture of this community. Walmart is the only department store here in town. Anything that you need, you have to go to Walmart for. Okay, plain and simple. There are Mexican stores that sell like Mexican foods and stuff like that. There is Harvest Foods or Leprechaun, whatever you want to call it. There is a small Dollar Tree. The 3 chain fast food restaurants we have a McDonald's, we do have a Burger King, and we do have a Taco Bell. Okay. And then I think there's 2 banks that are common, the STCU and the US Bank. Okay. We have 1 mega clinic. We have 4 elementary schools, 1 junior high, 1 high school. Okay. All the main businesses are on Main Street. Outside of that, there's not really businesses. There's no places to rent in this town. If you want to rent, you have to get an apartment, and the apartments are usually low income or are taken by the immigrant workers, and there's always a long waiting list. Every time they build houses, everything here is to buy. So if by chance something does open up, it takes like that because the waiting, you know what I mean? So life in this town is, for a lot of people, there's a struggle. Like, the opportunities are slim. Okay? The thing about Walmart in general Walmart, not specifically this Walmart, in general, is that it's a chain department store, and you can, if you wanted to move, you could transfer to another Walmart. So originally, that was something that I kept in the back of myself. You know what I mean? Anyways, okay? So that is to explain. Oh, yeah, and then there's a lot of things that you have to go out of town for because it's not in here. Like, if you want to get your license, you have to go out of town. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so that's a whole nother story. So the whole point of part 2, really, that I was going to get into is that, so my baby dad went manic, but his dad had been living with us for at least a year, okay? So when he got arrested, he obviously went and told like his sister and his mom. And I had specifically told him not to. Okay, but he did anyways. So what happened was CPS were called. And yes, I know that it was my baby dad's aunt who called, and that's a whole nother story. Okay, so CPS is now involved in this situation. So the accusations were, anyways, I'm gonna do a whole different video on that. Okay, so I, being the only one who is in a place where I can work, because we're in the same household, so even though the CPS were called on him, it affected me. So I had to do a lot of stuff, and all so hard not to get sidetracked. Okay, so anyways, so I had to get a job, so I was applying everywhere. Now, mind you, up until this point, I have not worked. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I was even homeschooling my kids. Yada yada yada. Trying to get sidetracked. So eventually, I did get an interview with Walmart, and they hired me. So keep in mind that the level of distress that I have been under for who knows how long. I'm going to explain my mental and emotional states before even my first day. And I obviously carried that with me when I started working, okay? Isolation. I have not been around people. I have not interacted with people. I don't know what it's like to be around people, okay? 2, I was very distressed because of my baby dad's situation and the CPS. And obviously, I was very nervous about going to workplace. I have 0 experience, 0 knowledge. I don't know what to expect. This is all new to me. So I'm just trying to paint a picture of my mental and emotional state already going into Walmart, okay? For you guys. I don't know what it looks like from the outside perspective, but even this CPS worker who was very insensitive, and don't even get me started that, pointed out, even asked if I had any mental disabilities or learning disabilities, because she didn't like how slow it was being. But that I had not been sleeping, so my sleeping and eating habits were not okay. I was under so much stress, so much pressure. I had a lot going on, okay? So I had to deal with all of this and all this going on when I had started. Now, mind you, the CPS was in our lives for several months. So I want to say from September all the way to at least Thanksgiving. I don't remember if it was before or right after Thanksgiving, but it was like into November. Okay, so September, October, November of dealing with CPS. And it took him months to normalize to his usual normal self. So the first 3 months of me working there, you can only imagine the level of stress, the level of responsibility, because one of the things that my baby dad did was put us in debt. So me, on a part-time income, had to get us caught up on bills. So for the first few months, I was not able to save money. I had to work. All my money had to go to catching us up on bills. I don't know how, you know what I mean? Because this house is owned. Anyways, so that's a whole nother story. So even though I was working, I didn't get to keep any of my money at first. Okay? So I'm just trying to paint a picture for you guys so you can really understand my mental and emotional state. Okay? And now I'm going to get into the good stuff.